We are by no means a strict ingredient household. When we pass by all the snacks in Aldi, we definitely still grab some bags of snacks.
Hi, I'm Maria, and welcome to Living Planet Friendly, where I document my imperfect, low-waste lifestyle.
An ingredients household is a low processed household almost. Instead of buying a bunch of processed snacks, we make them ourselves instead with ingredients that we have. We're a very loose ingredient household. We're working on getting better. I have a lot of allergies to preservatives, so that limits what I can eat already. So one of the things that was giving me problems was like sandwich bread, white sandwich bread that you'd buy at a grocery store. I learned how to make it from scratch and now I can eat it and it's perfectly fine. There's no way we could ever become a total ingredient household. And honestly, some weeks it can be a lot of work and it can take a lot of time. I spend probably about 3 hours a week doing like a homemade restock. So first we're going to get our garlic and onion ready to dehydrate. Then we're going to get a loaf of bread for sandwich bread going in my bread maker. We're going to mix up some brown sugar and get some veggie broth going. And then today around 3 o'clock, I'm going to start making black bean tofu soup for Soup Sunday. Soup Friday. Like I said, we usually do it on Sundays, but we have a busy weekend this week, so we're doing it on Friday instead. And then tonight, I'm going to make sourdough bread dough and bagel dough. So I think it's gonna take me around 3 hours and 15 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer this week because I'm trying to record everything I do and explain how I do it. It's 8:30, so let's get to the kitchen. This is my first time using a dehydrator for onions. I've always done it in my oven, so I'm really interested to see how this is gonna work out. So I'm just separating out the slices and getting them as thinly as possible on the dehydrator trays. Everyone always asks where I got my dehydrator from. This is a Magic Mill dehydrator. Okay, now I got my trays and we're ready to go. I love this Panasonic bread maker. It was gifted to me by Panasonic. It's so easy. All you do is you put all the ingredients in this little container that's got a little paddle in it, and it will knead the bread for you, and then it will bake the bread in here too. And it's gonna do everything for me. Okay, so we're gonna make some brown sugar, and in case you didn't know, brown sugar is literally just molasses with white sugar. We're gonna make it in my mixer. You just need the whisk attachment. So for every cup of white sugar, you want a tablespoon of molasses to start, and then you can add more molasses as you wish. Okay, so we're a little over a cup. So now we want a tablespoon of molasses. That was definitely a little bit over, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna put this here, lock it in, and have it stir on speed 1. And that's literally it. This is what we look like so far. I'm gonna add some carrots. And my green onions could be trimmed, so we're gonna throw them in there. Some salt, some pepper, some thyme, and some parsley. We're gonna fill it with butter. We're just gonna let that sit on the stovetop and simmer. Let's take a peek at my bread. So it was kneaded and now it's just sitting to rise. Okay, so that's part one of the restock. It is 9:37, so I spent just over an hour. That extra 7 minutes was probably me moving the camera. I've got sandwich bread in the bread machine, veggie broth on the stove top cooking, brown sugar is done and in the pantry, and then I've got my garlic and onion dehydrating to make garlic powder and onion powder. For the veggie broth, all I'm doing, I'm just gonna give it a stir every once in a while. I found that the really long simmer gives it so much more flavor and cuts a lot of the bitterness from the root vegetables down. So that's it. I'll see you in the afternoon. Waffles discovered these. So we got a bunch of sand cloud towels for our honeymoon in July, and Waffles discovered them yesterday when I opened up the package. I put them on the ground after. So then we remembered to take them down to the laundry, and it's now Waffles' new nap spot. Okay, so my bread is done. We're gonna dump this out onto a cutting board and let it cool. If you cut into it now, it'll be like almost gummy inside. You wanna let it just sit and cool. It looks and smells so good though. It smells so good. We are also almost out of ice cubes, so this isn't really like a homemade restock, but kind of. I love lemon in my ice, so I'm gonna cut some of these up. I have so many different ice cube trays. Let's top these off with lemon concentrate. Life hack, use like Pyrex lids or something for ice cube trays that are like super unstable, and then if they leak, they just leak onto the lid. Okay, so we're also gonna make some big cube lemons. Stop, look at how cute he is. Okay, so it's preheating, and this is literally gonna do all the black bean cooking for us. No pre-soaking or anything. But first, I'm gonna make some caramelized onions. So while these are caramelizing, we're gonna get going on the other veggies. So with this black bean and tofu soup, you can pretty much add like whatever veggies you want. You can use celery, you can use peppers, garlic, onion, carrot. You could also add like jalapeno peppers to make it spicy. Like the vegetable part is totally customizable. Adding just about a cup of vegetable broth. This is literally the easiest way that I found to make bread, and it's by using my KitchenAid mixer. Okay, so I've got a 1/4 cup, and I need at least a cup of starter into my mixer. To be completely honest, I have never made the same loaf of bread twice. It always changes based on your starter, how it's acting, how much flour you use, what the temperature of your kitchen is, how long you let it rise, how long you let it proof. It is literally never the exact same loaf of bread. I'm gonna add 2 cups and a quarter of water. 2 heaping cups of bread flour. Looks good. Just gonna lift it up. I'm gonna take olive oil and just do a ring around the top of the bowl. You can use your hands. I hate sticky dough, so I opt for a spatula. I've got my dough just kind of popped in there. I'm gonna flip it over so that it's coated in oil. Lid, I keep it airtight. I find that it gets a lot better rise a lot faster with an airtight lid. I follow a very similar recipe for sourdough bagels. They're so good. So I want my healthy, bubbly, active starter, and I want a cup of that. Put in like a tablespoon, maybe 2 of honey. The second cup. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of salt, 2 more cups of flour. Okay, so I do the exact same thing for my bagels. I do a splash of oil.
I didn't do any audio recording when I recorded this because I hadn't had enough coffee yet, but all I'm doing here is shaping my bread loaf. Trying to create some tension, and then I flip it over and put it into the Banneton basket and cover it with a wet unpapered towel. This helps hold all the moisture inside. For the super bubbly bagel dough, I form it into a very loose ball, and then I cut it into 8 different pieces for big bagels. You can cut it into 10 pieces for small bagels. And I'm doing the same sort of thing. I'm creating some tension and making almost mini loaves, and then I put my finger in the middle of it and create the bagel hole. I will boil each bagel for about a minute on each side, and then take it out and put it back onto the cookie sheet and add any sort of toppings. My favorite go-to is everything seasoning. These bagels will go into the oven for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and you can take them out when they're your desired shade of golden brown. For the garlic powder and onion powder, I just use my spice grinder to grind them up super fine. And then I score my bread loaf, put it in my Dutch oven, and it bakes for 20 minutes with the lid on and 8 minutes with the lid off.
Okay, so I spent 4 hours and 15 minutes on this week's homemade restock. I spend anywhere from like 3 to 4 hours. If I'm trying a new recipe, it often ends up being a little bit longer. This time, the extra time was probably me moving the camera and trying to record everything I was doing instead of just doing it. And even then, like the extra time that I put in for the sourdough when it was baking, I put it in the oven and then I walked away. So I don't know if I should count the whole time I did, but that's okay. I always get so many questions about homemade restocks and everybody always seems to love them. So if there's anything that I missed or that you want to know, feel free to drop it in the comments and let me know. I will link my bread box in the description of this video. It's always highly requested. I think because it's a double-decker box, it's not very common for bread boxes to look like that. So that's all for this week's homemade kitchen restock. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe or check out some of my other platforms. Happy homemade kitchen restock and see you next time.